Good morning out there. In there, out there, from in here, out here. Big rainstorm yesterday. Here's Vivi. Oh, did I give you your other treat? No, look. Look, here we go. Hey. Oh boy. Uh-huh. Say hi. Hey, look at this shirt. Pretty nice, huh? Yeah. Welcome to Sentimentalist. Hi, Mark. Mariana. Oh. Joe's able to walk a little bit now. Anyway. Oh, where you going? Let's stay here. You guys stay here with me. Yeah, say hi to everybody. You got a little bit of treat on your beard there, kiddo. So there's a story behind this shirt. See, because I do a lot of the laundry, maybe most, but a laundry. And I had this shirt. It's my favorite. I shouldn't say favorite. Meredith taught us when she was little never to say the word favorite. So it was a shirt I liked a lot. Are you leaving me? Oh. Now what? Okay, that's good, Vivian. You're gonna steal everything, steal the show. And I did the laundry along with a ballpoint pen. And guess what the shirt had on it? Mm-hmm. So that's how you get a new wonderful shirt. Julie got most of the stain out. Just back from late last night from a long, got lost a couple times, trip to Midland. Did a little workshop in the afternoon, read to, what was it, a handful of people in the evening. But you know, the thing is, if two people came up afterwards and said that those poems, anyway, it was very dear what they said and touched them and all that. And you think, well, what are you talking about? Expecting or wanting or wanting? There it is. I mean, hadn't done that, those two people wouldn't have had that experience. A couple people in the workshop said, I've never, now I'm not as afraid of poems as I was before, that kind of thing. Yeah. There's a big celebration for Stephen Hemingway today at the college. 51 years he taught there. 51 years. He came the year after I did. And he just retired a long time after I did. Funny thing about that college is once you're a retiree, you're just nobody. Yeah, so several of us came with Steve and spent a long many years with Steve, and we were all good buddies, and none of us who retired were invited to celebrate Steve, but we were the ones who were there with him the whole time. Yeah. None of us invited. Oh boy. Let's remember to care about one another, huh? You ever notice there's a little bit of a loss of eccentricities? I remember thinking I wanted to be in an English department. It was a bastion of eccentricity. And it was. Steve Hemingway and all these wonderful people, all very different from one another and just really enjoying the differences. Or as one put it, let's delight in our differences. Not opinion, just quirks, What are we afraid of quirks about? What's that about? Talk about one carburetor, you talked about them all. Well, that's not true. Here come the carburetor people. They're going to get me. Here we go. Carburetors aren't all the same. No. And let's see what we have here. Jim Alice works in the prisons, as I've told you, and he brought me a couple quotes from a couple of his people in his class. Why is it so difficult for the general public, prosecutors, judges, legislators, to grasp the fact that their worst minute or moment in life did not completely define them, nor did it completely control the narrative of the remainder of their lives? Why can't we as human beings be more forgiving rather than viewing people that just need to be discarded forever? Here's a third one. No one's perfect. Judicial officials and ignorant juries have sentenced me to die a long, slow, oppressive death in prison, where I'm often treated as less than human. I've committed no crime in many decades. I am no longer the same man I was 20 years ago. Who's the criminal? Boy, Jim talks about, and he and I have talked about that sort of metaphor of the gates, and what the gates are. One thing for Jim, he walks in through the gates, he walks out through the gates. And the gates for the men in there are not in or out, they're just keep you in. Whew. One inmate said to Jim, "You ever do anything wrong?" Here comes Molly, one of our cats. They're not usually up and around. She's down here on the floor. Hear her? She's chirping. Yeah, she's chirping away. So I rode with Greg Rapley to Midland. How wonderful of him to give me a ride to Midland to do this gig. And Greg doesn't use GPS. So we had this anomaly, this thing that just doesn't happen anymore. 3 times we stopped and asked people for directions. And you should have seen the look on their faces. We roll down the window and say, "Excuse me," and there's this back up a little bit, and then, yes? And then, what's the best way to get to such and such? We'll go down, haven't done that for a long time. 2 blocks, there's a red light. You'll see a red light, and then make a left, and you'll be okay. Boy, I'm sure they went home and said, "You're not going to believe this, but somebody asked us for directions today." That's quite something, huh? And what a wonderful person Jennifer Foster was the host, and she went to school with our daughter Meredith, and Meredith had talked about how Jennifer was so calm, and there were so many things that went wrong. The mic reverberated, I was a half hour late for the workshop, and she just very calm. No, we just sat around and talked. Wow, I've never seen anybody, it was like Meredith has a t-shirt, calm as a strength, calm as a superpower. Calm is a superpower. And boy, is that Jennifer. Gee whiz. Wow. Julie redid all the flowers in our window boxes, and looked up everything about orchids, and we're now orchided. And they look so nice. I wish you could see them. You need to see them. Today's changed to sheet state. Just thought you needed to know that. I'm doing the whites today. I hope I don't put a ballpoint pen in with them. But I'm going to do those tonight, yeah. And tonight, is our show from Detroit with Carrie Newcomer's recordings and Kate Wolf and John Denver, and an original piece by uh, what? Jeez. Caprice Garvin, that's hilarious, who I work with every other week, and I'm going, oh. And it's, she wrote an original piece. She works out in New Jersey, but also Nashville, where she writes music and works with people in Nashville. And she did one for us. Yeah. That's just really, really, I don't know. That's so wonderful. It's just a gift beyond gifts. I got this gift. It's full of water right now. This is my gift from the Midland Library. Yep. Very nice. Keep things warm or cool. Or as a little kid said the other day, how can I keep it warm and cool? Our daughter's got a new job. I mean, that's huge. She's been at this school for 20 years. 20 years. And she's switching from teaching art to high school students to teaching art to elementary school students. And she just can't wait. You know, she doesn't have to. Tells a story about a little kid. He did a triangle and put a thing out this way, a thing out this way, and he said, and what is it's an elephant. It's an elephant. I remember being a writer in the schools thing, and I went in and set everything up for them to do this little writing thing and drawing thing, and then got all the instructions down and need a sip for this. I said, does anybody have any questions? And hand went up, and I said, yeah. And he said, my uncle's cow had a calf. Got it. We had a visit from the psychotherapist Richard Raubaut and the storyteller, flash fiction writer Richard Raubaut and his wife, wonderful wife Linda, and they're friends from Santa Monica. This man has spent years with the homeless in Santa Monica, and I don't know if this can show up, but he does these paintings, and they're shown just hundreds of galleries, and he's remarkable. He's been painting since he was 56. He started painting, and in this wonderful book called Open Your Heart Through Art, there'll be a painting, and then very difficult to read why the person is homeless. And he stays with them, he listens to them for the longest time, and before he starts painting these astonishing portraits. And some of them are 6 feet, a lot of them are 4 feet by 3 feet. So they're so imposing when you see them. Gosh. So my uncle's cow had a new calf. And so if you need the link for tonight's thing at 7 o'clock, just send me an email, jack@riddle.com. jack@riddle.com. And I will send you the link for the program. And boy, we had a little rehearsal the other day, and they're ready to go. And I'd just love to see you there, because here we are together now, but then, we could see each other back and forth, and it'd be so nice. You don't have to like the show. It's just nice to visit, don't you think? I do. I think it is. I thought today I'd read one from this series of circus poems that I put together a while ago. This one's called Outside the Center Ring. And I like that as a metaphor. Maybe that's a good place for all of us to be. You know what's in the center ring, huh? No, we don't want to be in a center ring. It's pretty bad in there. Outside the center ring. It's another night in another town, And one by one the great gray elephants, the pink tips of their trunks wrapped around one another's tails, parade through the main tent's faded entrance. This morning, the roustabouts tightened the guy lines for the wire-walking Alberto, steadied the rigging for the flying family of Hallorinis. Now outside the center ring the clowns wait to honk their trumpet-sized horns, slap each other's painted faces with mitts the size of frying pans. The grease paint caked and cracked across their eyes. Some will laugh. Between each act, the roustabouts write home or sleep, while in the next town, the advance man stakes the lot and heads on, tacking arrows on telephone poles to mark the way. Straw Boss slides some tens into his pocket, tosses a few receipts into the green book, pours Jack Daniels over chips of ice from the mess tent, takes a sip, heads out to the back lot to wait for the teardown. The sun's dropped into the end of the day, the night sky holding to the moon's light, falling over the patched canvas. There's the faint ripple of thunder. No one can prepare for mud. Across the lot, behind the power truck, two kids fumble under each other's clothes, talk of running away with the show, having their own act, he spinning her in the death spiral high above the center ring. After the sale of prize candy, a circus souvenir in every box, the roustabouts move out, start stacking the empty seats on the flatbeds, and the elephants rise up on the long line. Then the disappointed crowd wanders out into the night, and a last chance to buy a circus program balloon, cloud of cotton candy. At the entrance, the elephant boy waits to fasten the chain around the leg of Susie, who will walk around the tent, pausing at each stake as the boy tosses the links up into the moonlit air, lets the chain drop and loop as he hollers, "Hum, Susie, hum!" And she will slowly lift her leathered foot, the iron rising from the earth, then falling back against the dust. Take care. Try to be cheerful, be kind. Thanks for being here with us this morning. So good.